at me. I'm going to pass it to coin after I say one thing.
Go. Let's go.
That's a W. Let's eat one. Let's eat one. That's a W. How many people want to eat a W tonight? How many eat a W tonight?
Buccaneers fans, do you really think we have forgotten? The Buccaneers are one of the worst, if not the worst franchise in NFL history. Although, this doesn't seem right. They are the current world champions who just dominated in the Super Bowl this year. How are the Tampa Bay Buccaneers able to win Super Bowls if they are a terrible franchise? To find this answer, we have to go back in time. To begin, let's look at some stats that will allow us to truly understand how bad the Buccaneers franchise is. Since joining the league in 1976, they have only had a winning record against 4 teams: the Bills, the Bengals, the Dolphins, and the Chiefs. With every other team, they have a losing record, which shadows into comparison to how bad their ability to win games actually is. The Buccaneers have a win percentage of .393. That is the worst in all 4 major sports in North America. Out of the NHL, MLB, NBA, and the NFL, the Buccaneers have won the least amount of their games. In fact, they have always struggled with winning. In their inaugural season, they went 0-14, losing every single game, and even accomplishing the longest losing streak in the NFL Super Bowl era. 15 months after the Buccaneers played their first game, they finally got their first win. That drought amounted to be 26 total consecutive losses. Expectations for expansion teams are low, but man, the Buccaneers were just so bad. If we look at this graph, it shows the most recent teams to be added to the NFL. Now, showing the amount of wins each of these teams got in their first 3 seasons, the Panthers are the best with 26 wins, and the very worst is the Buccaneers, who were 7-37. In fact, the Buccaneers did not have a single Pro Bowler until their 3rd season. But probably the best stat that fits this team, it took the Buccaneers 32 years to get a kick return touchdown in the NFL. In their 32nd season, 512th game, and 1,902nd try, Michael Spurlock in 2007 scored them their very first kick return touchdown. It's pretty clear. The Buccaneers franchise has been historically bad, although has all their losing actually paid off for them? Let's compare the Tampa Bay Buccaneers to the Green Bay Packers since 1990. The Packers have a better record, better win percentage, 11 more division titles, 12 more winning seasons, 9 less starting quarterbacks, 31 more Pro Bowl nominations, 3 more All-Pro nominations, 27 more playoff games, and a better playoff record. The Packers have been one of the best teams the last 30 years, while on the other hand, the Buccaneers have been one of the worst. Although, whenever you reveal how many Super Bowls both teams have won in this time span, they have the same with 2. Despite the Packers being a lot more successful, they still only tied the Buccaneers in Super Bowl wins. Even if we compare them to the Steelers, who have also been one of the best teams in the past 30 years, they destroy the Buccaneers in every single category. Yet, they still both amount to 2 Super Bowl wins. This graphic shows us 2 teams that have been dominant the past 30 years, and 1 team that has been really bad the past 30 years, all amounting to the same number of Super Bowl wins. Which leads us to another question. The Buccaneers lose a ton of games, but have still won 2 Super Bowls. So, is it worth it to lose a lot of games in the NFL? The short answer, absolutely not. The Buccaneers are the only exception. Their playoff triumphs does not relate to any other struggling franchise. This list shows us the 10 worst franchises in win percentage in NFL history. Outside of the Buccaneers, only 2 other teams have won a Super Bowl. The Jets won theirs in the 60s, so I guess it counts, and the Saints who won in 2009. The Buccaneers are in large part the only exception to this rule, that if you don't win regular season games, then you don't win championships. Even when you look at the top 20 worst franchises in all 4 major sports leagues in North America, for some reason, a lot of NHL teams are the exception, but when you take them out, only 5 out of the top 20 worst NFL, NBA, and MLB teams have ever won a championship. Clearly, losing a lot of games or having a bad win percentage does not translate to championship success. So what separates the Buccaneers from the other terrible franchises in the NFL? What allows them to win Super Bowls while other bad teams can't? The answer is what I like to call the Buccaneers championship cycle. At the beginning, they start off losing a lot for a few seasons. Then they start to collect a lot of really good talent with the high draft picks they got from losing. Then find a quarterback or head coach the year before the championship season. Then find the other missing part, quarterback or head coach, the year of the championship season. Then they win the Super Bowl. After that, win for a few more seasons. Then, over time, lose their talented roster due to bad draft picks and start over. For example, let's look at the 2002 Buccaneers when they won their first Super Bowl. In the first step, from 1992 to 1998, they only had one winning season. But in the draft, they selected players like Derrick Brooks, Warren Sapp, John Lynch, Rondé Barber, and more. Then in 2001, they picked up Brad Johnson, who would be their starting quarterback. Then in 2002, the Buccaneers traded for John Gruden, giving up a ton of draft picks. Then the Buccaneers won the Super Bowl in 2002. With that, from the time span of 1999 to 2008, the Buccaneers had 7 winning seasons. During those years in the draft, they selected a total of 75 players. Out of all those players, only one went on to make a Pro Bowl for the Buccaneers in their careers. And at the year 2009, they reached the top of the cycle again. Which leads us to the 2020 Buccaneers in the cycle. From 2011 to 2019, they only had one winning season, but drafted all of these players, including Levante David, Mike Evans, Quan Alexander, and many more. Then in 2019, they hired head coach Bruce Arians. Then in 2020, they signed the GOAT Tom Brady. Which leads us to where the Buccaneers currently are in the cycle after they just won the championship. The Buccaneers suffer the same struggles that every bad franchise has: the inability to get a good head coach and a franchise quarterback. Although with great timing and hitting on their draft picks, the Buccaneers are able to get those pieces and put together Super Bowl teams. To see how they compare to other teams with this theory, from 2010 to 2020, the Buccaneers had 8 top 15 draft picks. If we look at the other franchises that had the same amount or more, the only team that came close to completing the Buccaneers championship cycle is the Rams. They got a great roster, head coach, and quarterback, but they came up short because of these two guys. They did not have great timing. I see this cycle as the best way to sum up how and why the Buccaneers were able to reach the top of the NFL mountain not once, but twice. So yes, the Buccaneers are the most recent world champions. And yes, they are 2-time Super Bowl champions. But don't think we have forgotten about everything else. I hope you guys enjoyed the video. Alright, I'll see you guys next time.